strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome everyone, there is a new Splinterlands update yet again. They are cranking these out fast. Today you can claim your Liquidity Provider rewards. You can go in and there is a whole new tab. Let's go look at it right now. Let's jump in and look at this new tab. If you come over to the SPS screen here, so if you click on the SPS up top, it'll take you to this dashboard. You can click on pools up here and it will show you all of the liquidity pools. You can claim your rewards. Those of you who've had some in the liquidity pool that has been earning some rewards over the last few days, you can now go in and claim that. I already claimed mine. You can come down here and look at the APRs for all of these. Look at the APRs for down here on Ethereum with SPS, 733%. There's a link to each of those pools. So with this up, I'm getting a lot of questions today about what they are, how to join them, how do you get those returns? So we're gonna walk through this as quick as I can. I'm not always good about being quick, but we're gonna try here. So first off, what are liquidity pools? It talks about it up here. It kind of defines it. It says it's a pool of two assets that anyone can use to swap one asset for another. They facilitate faster trades and reward anyone who contributes assets to the pool. So basically it's a way to exchange between any of these two assets you see linked here. So SPS DEC, it's a way you can go in and swap your DEC for SPS or swap your SPS for DEC. Let's actually go look at one. We'll click on SPS swap Hive. Most of anything on that uses two Hive tokens is going to be here on Tribal Dex. Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, those will use different websites. They're all going to basically work the same. It's the same concept here. So we'll go in and you can look at this. So let's actually, this is the page to add liquidity. Let's go over here to swap so you can see how a liquidity pool works. So let's say we want to use Hive. We want to buy into Splinterlands and we're going to start with Hive. So we've got swap.hive here and we want to buy SPS. So you can simply come in here, however much swap Hive you have. Let's say you've got a bunch. Let's say you've got 20,000 Hive and you want to come in and buy SPS. You just type in 20,000, you come down here and hit swap, and now your Hive is exchanged for SPS. You do pay a liquidity provider fee. 0.25% is the fee on Tribal Dex, so it's fairly small. But this is an asset that's very important to have. So the ability to easily buy into a system or cash out of the system adds a lot of value. If there's not a lot of people participating in these pools, then it gets very hard to move around large chunks of money or any money at all sometimes. So that is why Splinterlands is providing SPS rewards to give people incentives to place their money in the pool. Because so this is one that there's incentives to place money. And you can see that the price impact down here. This is so it defines as the difference between the market price and the estimated price due to trade size. The more you trade, the more people swap Hive for SPS or either one, any direction, the more expensive it gets to do so. And that's how the pools will balance out the prices and keep an equal value of both sides. There's always going to be an equal value for each half of the pool. So if there's not a lot of liquidity there, then that price impact can become very large. And if we tried to buy enough, you would see that would increase. So the more we put in, and eventually gets to the point where you just can't even do it. So, but if we looked at 20,000 Hive, now it switched to SPS, wrong screen. If we looked at 20,000 Hive, back to where we were, we can see there's a 1% price impact. But if we go to something else that doesn't have incentives, like let's say we go to Bitcoin and try to buy Bitcoin with SPS. So if you if you used half a Bitcoin here, you're gonna get a 50%, there's just no liquidity there. So it's very hard to go from Bitcoin to SPS because there's nobody in that pool. So that's why Splinterlands wants players to put assets in these pools. Hopefully that makes sense. So if you want to add liquidity, you need to have both sides of the pool. So you can come over here to add liquidity. This is the link we were originally brought to. You can come in here and then search for whichever pool you want. So SPS, if we want to do SPS DEC, you then have to contribute equal sides to the pool. So half the value in DEC, half the value in SPS. So if we put 10,000 DEC here, it's going to show you how much It's going to put the equivalent amount of SPS in there as well. Now I don't have enough, but it shows you how much SPS would be needed. You can then add your liquidity there. If you only have one side of it, well, there's a liquidity pool. So you can just come over here to swap and swap half of that one token into the other token, and then go add that liquidity. And it's going to work the same way for any of these. So that was SPS Swap Hive or SPS DEC. If you go to DEC and BUSD, that's on Binance Smart Chain. So that'll pop up here and bring you to Pancake Swap. It's the same way. You can add liquidity. You have to have both halves of equal parts of both halves. So you need BUSD and DEC, but you can put that in the pool, and then you will earn this percent APR. Now this percent is going to change because there's a fixed amount of SPS or DEC that is rewarded for each pool. So the more value is in that pool, the less your APR is going to be. The more people that are joining it, the more people are sharing in those rewards. So this, like we can kind of we can follow some of these percentages here, but this 733%, that is extremely high percent for a pairing with Ethereum. A lot of people like to hold Ethereum anyways, right? So if you like both of those tokens, it's kind of a no-brainer to grab both of them and put them in this pool at this percent. So I would guess there's going to be a lot of money that moves into that pool, which will drive that APR down. Right now there's only 167,000. Trying to look at how many digits are there. 167,000 is the total liquidity. I bet that goes up and the APR will kind of go down as well. But right now that's a huge return. Like I'm kind of wondering if I should go out and try to get in that. But I'll keep an eye on that and see how fast that comes down. But that's why those can change based on the value of what's in the pool, and of course the value of SPS as well. SPS or DEC, depending on how it's paid out. Some of these will pay both. You'll see DEC SPS here. It's listed twice because there's DEC rewards and SPS rewards. You'd kind of have to combine those together. You see it's about a 70% APR there, which is fairly solid. That's a higher percent reward than just staking your SPS. So we'll see. I suspect we might see a lot of SPS get unstaked and moved over to this. Now, the other risk you have, it's the difference between, okay, just staking your SPS or holding one token and putting it into a pool, is you also have something that's called impermanent loss. And what impermanent loss is I honestly don't like the term because it's not necessarily a loss all the time, but it's the amount that you lose versus what you could have had if you just held the two tokens individually. And that happens because these tokens are always going to keep the same value. There's going to be the same value on each side. So if the value of one token goes up and the other doesn't, or goes up more than the other, you're essentially going to sell off some of that other token, and as you increase the amount of the other on the other side of the pool. So for example, let's say DEC is meant to stay at peg, right? So right now it's a little below there, but it could still rise. But here in the future, DEC is going to be more of a stable coin, while SPS could fluctuate more. So if DEC holds steady at its peg and SPS doubles, well, you're going to, when you pull the money out of the pool, you're going to have a lot more DEC than what you originally had put in. You're going to have a lot less SPS because the pool's balancing that value. So you'll still, if SPS doubles, you're still going to make money there. That's why I don't necessarily like it being called impermanent loss a lot of times, because if SPS jumps up a bunch, DEC holds, when you pull out that value, it's still going to be worth more than when you put it in because the SPS went up. But you're not going to gain as much as if you just held the DEC and the SPS separately together and kept the same amounts. So I know that's kind of I'm not the best at explaining that whole concept. I'm sure you can go Google impermanent loss, and there's actually I've watched them before. There's some pretty good videos that will help explain it, and some animated videos if you guys like that type of things, or written guides if you, or explanations if you like those. But it's just something to keep in mind, that there is risk in putting your assets into a liquidity pool. So when you're putting those in there, you're hoping that the APR return is greater than any impermanent loss that you get. And at these rates, there's probably a good chance, but you never know. You never know. Like I said, SPS could skyrocket, while DEC has a limited amount. So same when you put it with Hive. Hive does all these crazy things we saw just a few days ago. It had a crazy pump. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. But if you want to join these pools, you just need equal amounts on both sides. You go put it in the pool, and then you can come here and claim your rewards every day. So pretty simple. Nothing too complicated. And another advantage of putting your assets in a pool, like putting SPS specifically in one of these pools, is that when you stake it, your money's locked up. Your SPS is locked up for 4 weeks. 25% comes out every week. So if you have it staked and then something happens, oh, Rift Watchers is here, I want to go take my SPS and spend it on Rift Watchers. Well, you've got to make sure you start that unstaking process early to make sure those funds are available. If it's in a liquidity pool, you can enter and exit the pool at any time. And it doesn't cost you anything to do that other than gas fees on some of these networks. So I mean, especially on Ethereum, there can be some gas fees for jumping in and out. On Hive, that doesn't really apply. You don't have those gas fees that you have to worry about. But there's no direct cost to just pulling. So to putting assets in, pulling them out. So you have a lot of flexibility there if you ever want to pull it out and spend something. Or if you're like me and I put them in a pool and then, wow, this card, somebody just put this card on the market for really cheap. I want that. Well, I'm gonna pull those assets out of the pool and go buy a Splinterlands card if I want. You've got that flexibility. Maybe that's not always the good thing for me to have that flexibility. I'm always buying cards. So anyways, hopefully that kind of answers questions about what liquidity pools are, how you can go in here and join. They made it very easy. They've got the links on here. You can come in again on Ethereum. You can go here and click, and this will take you to Sushi, so you can swap those, add liquidity. It's all fairly straightforward if you worked with any sort of tokens like this previously. So if you have any questions, let me know. Come to my Discord, hit me up wherever. Come to my Discord. Come to the official Splinterlands Discord. I'm obviously there quite a bit. Feel free to tag me, ask me whatever you need, and I'll be happy to help. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later.